Hey friends, it's time for your favorite Once More with Feelings. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Beth, and we are a podcast that watches movies and then talks about them and relates our feelings about, around, and
through and
everything else.
In and out and sideways.
Sliding up and down it.
Polka dots.
It's going to get very weird up in here.
So if you can't tell, I sound like I have been dead for most of the week because I have been, allergies turning into sinus infections / whatever the holy hell I've got going on.
Well,
Sounds
yeah.
lovely. So I'm a little froggy.
You're around children all the time. You're
I
bound
am
to
around
get
children.
The ick of some kind.
Oh, I always say I work in a cootie platoon, and we had one who was sick last week and then came back over the weekend sick, and he just has no personal space concepts and sneezes right at you. I don't know enough about Down syndrome, but I have to. From my experiences with it, boogers, just always boogers. I mean, dripping down the face, boogers.
Okay.
No, it's nasty. And, and then, it's just a cootie platoon, you guys. I mean, not only is it just now that I've got like kindergartners and first graders, it just, just the sickness. And so that was bound to happen. And, so yeah, here I am with this voice. Sorry, and I'm a little dazed, so I might not even make sense tonight, but I'm going to do my best.
You're trying.
I'm trying.
And I'm just going to let you talk. I'll just...
Oh, yeah. She'll let me talk and then cut it all out later.
So, today we're going to talk about a movie that I've seen before, and you have not.
I had not, no.
So, it's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
In honor of the late Val Kilmer.
Right.
And surprisingly, our first Robert Downey Jr. movie.
Yeah, it is.
I figured we would have had one sooner than now.
That's true.
So if you got the...
Yes, I do. I do have the wiki description. Let me read it for you. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a 2005 American neo-noir black comedy crime film written and directed by Shane Black. The story follows Harry Lockhart, a petty thief who accidentally stumbles into an audition while fleeing the police. Mistaken for a method actor, he is flown to Los Angeles for a screen test. There he meets his childhood crush, Harmony Lane, and Gay Perry, a private investigator. I paused there on purpose so that you could, think that he had a childhood crush on both of them.
Oh.
That's making that funny because the way it's written.
Yeah.
Hired to train him for his role, the trio becomes entangled in a complex murder mystery. I'm going to be cutting a lot of this, involving deception, betrayal, and dark humor.
Yeah, there is some dark humor. It definitely got
It's one of the longer descriptions for a movie from Wikipedia.
Yeah, and if you have...
Not the longest,
True.
by far.
And if you did catch the clues from last week, I did say it was the first gay lead action movie character.
In which the character is
gay. Val Kilmer is
actor.
not gay. Unfortunately, again, wish that they had represented with a real gay actor, but, Val did a good job. He played a convincing gay man. Not a flamboyant gay man, not a cliche gay man, but a gay man. And I really, I like that he wasn't, because, let's see, this was made... anti-gay gay man, where you don't think he's gay because he doesn't present that way. But... if you look at his clothes and if you look at his style, and those are cliches about, gay men being, neat and clean.
Fastidious.
But so this is 2005. Now we just came out of, I'm not good with the years right now and I don't feel like looking them up. Will and Grace, where we had Jack, and Jack was the flamboyant.
Yeah, 2005?
Well, that was when this came out.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking 2005 was the same area that Will and Grace came out.
I think it was like the end, like towards the end of the series, kind of the, we're getting to that point, but still, that was the representation that we saw. So to see a gay man who is not Jack, just Jack, Don't get me wrong. I loved Will and Grace. And Jack and Karen were the shit. But it's still, it was nice to see a gay man being portrayed as not, oh my God, yes, queen.
I mean, you're going to fall into these tropes, and I don't know if that affectation really holds true in a lot of cases.
Oh, no. I know that. But
I'm saying
the way television and movies portray gay men is...
And also, I think that, and when you were saying, this kind of thing, gay men have kind of taken that back.
Yes.
They took the trope over.
Oh, yeah.
So they own that affectation.
I mean...
that a lot of gay men adopt.
I mean, look at our son. He's always walking around with that whole yas queen. If you've never listened to him talk sometimes, he is so
not
gay.
Like that, no.
Yes, he is so gay. I love him, but he is so gay.
Well, no. I mean, he's definitely gay. That's not the question.
But no, the things like sometimes he is like cliche gay. Yeah, he has his moments of things that he's very gay about.
Okay.
Let's
get back on board because I'm not sure exactly where we left off.
I know where I'm going to go. Okay. So this is a Shane Black movie he directed. It was one of the... He's more of a screenplay. He does a lot of writing.
But he did Monster Squad.
He did do Monster Squad. Well, he didn't direct it.
No, but he
co-wrote it with Fred Decker, and Last Action Hero with David Arnault. But he played Rick Hawkins in Predator.
Yeah.
So, I mean, man's been there, done that, and
you know who that is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing I think is funny, I know, we've been not sticking with the sequential storyline, which I think is much better. So I'm going to jump. Shane Black has a trope he writes in his movies, which I didn't know about until I was doing my research.
Yeah.
But yes, it's that whole 5 feet away. So the scene with them and the orderly, and the orderly's got the gun on them, and they're walking in front of them and Perry is saying how, if you're 5 feet away, and he's calling it a trope himself.
Yeah.
And then how he spins and grabs the gun. Well, Shane Black puts that in a lot of his movies, in a lot of his writing. That's a trope that he follows through.
Okay.
I just thought that was pretty interesting because I didn't want to forget that. So I literally wrote gun gag with orderly.
So he also did The Last Boy Scout.
Yes, he did do The Last Boy Scout. And
one of my favorite films, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, that's going to be a good one to watch with you. You're going to like that.
Okay.
It's a good movie. You'll enjoy it. I know the type of movies you like, and you would enjoy that. So, yeah, Shane Black. We have Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, Robert Downey Jr. as Harry Lockhart.
Probably even given later, roles that he's had and stuff, I'd say this is one of his best.
So this is actually Robert Downey Jr.'s favorite role he's ever done. He said this is his favorite movie that he's done.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah.
But he also said that this was most likely the precursor as to why he got Iron Man, because of the way he played this character.
It is a very stony...
it's a lot of the lines.
Sorry. It is a very Tony Stark.
Stony Dark.
Okay, you're not going to let me say it so I can record it? Okay, time out. It is a very Tony Stark kind of, way that he has about him. So, yeah, I can see the two roles really do converge.
And honestly, yeah, there's a lot of times where I was listening to what he was saying, and he would make little comments. And again, it is the writing. It's not the Robert Downey Jr. of it, but it is the delivery of Robert Downey Jr. But a lot of little snarky little comments that he would make is definitely delivered in a Tony Stark type of way.
Right.
We also had Corbin Burnson, who played Harlan Dexter, who is surprisingly our bad guy. But if you are a Psych fan, you know that Sean would be agreeing that, yes, his dad is a dick.
He really does seem a lot like the dad in Psych.
I know.
He seems like, I don't know, there's a lot of his mannerisms that he just adopts into it. But
Yes.
maybe it's just that
that's
both,
a Corbin Burnson thing.
Maybe they're just both him being old and grumpy.
That's true. Yeah, that is a Corbin Burnson thing. And now, what I also thought was interesting is that in the beginning of the movie, it's a flashback to young Harry's life, and Harold the Great, the Great. He's a magician
Who later becomes Harold the Amazing.
Yes, but Harold the Great is played by Indio Falconer Downey, who is Robert Downey Jr.'s son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Indio Falconer.
Well, you have to have some kind of color for your falconer.
I mean, yeah. It's not even indigo, it's Indio.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. It's not weird in a bad way, and Michelle Monaghan played Harmony Faith Lane. There were a lot of other actors in this cast, but I really didn't feel like going into it all.
No, I think that's enough. I think we did a good job of
Woohoo, look
giving
at
the
us.
cast.
Go us.
So let me say about my feelings.
Yes, because I really didn't have any preconceived feelings because I had never seen it before.
Okay, well, let's go over this real quick. Had you heard of it before?
Yes, and it had been on my... I remember seeing the ads for it, and I remember the ads having the kiss, the infamous kiss, and I'm thinking, I need to watch that. But I never got around to it. It just never happened.
Yeah, it's one of the ones I didn't see in the theater. Mm-hmm. I wanted to, never got a chance to, and then we had it. One of my friends that I was rooming with at the time had it on DVD. Mm-hmm. He was like, I love this movie, and so we watched it. And that's how I got to see it. And I always love their banter.
Yeah.
It is between Harry and Perry.
Yeah.
They're like the best friends. You want them to be best friends almost immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Because they both have this syncopation to the way they act together. And I have to wonder if they actually liked each other on set. If they formed a friendship that way.
So from what I remember reading, and I could be wrong because I was reading this some things a couple weeks ago when we recorded Chicago when I was looking for my clues, and I vaguely remember seeing that they got along really good, and that Robert thought that working with Val was good, and Val thought working with Robert was good. Val did say that he did have to picture Kevin Bacon when he kissed Robert Downey Jr. so he could get in the mood. So that was kind of gay. I mean, honestly, Robert Downey Jr. or Kevin Bacon, I would have a hard toss-up right there. Because, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, but then,
it's Kevin Bacon. Yeah. And it's Val Kilmer. God damn it.
There's a lot going on there.
There is a sexy triangle going on there that I don't even know. There better be some fan fiction.
Oh, absolutely sure there is.
Oh my God, I should have looked on AO3 to see if there is some Kiss Kiss Bang Bang fan fiction.
But oh my God, the show's going off the rails.
That's okay.
When I saw the movie, I really, because the kiss had been hyped up.
Yeah.
Not by my friend.
But by media.
By the media and everything else. And really that's what people talked about. It was like, oh, the kiss. And so I was expecting, I was expecting more of it to be more of about their relationship or something. I just had this naive idea that it was going to be them two.
Yeah.
Forming a relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting when I first saw it. My gay head went gay way.
Yeah.
And so when that was just, a trope, it's a trope of the genre.
Yes.
Is, to kiss the person you're with so that no one really looks at you. I was like, oh, well, that's actually pretty smart. It's a pretty good trope to play off of because this movie is full of tropes.
Oh, yes, definitely.
If there's one thing, it's like a collection of trope.
There are.
I don't know what's a flock of trope. Is it a herd of trope?
I don't know, but there are 165 fan fictions for this movie on AO3.
She looked it up.
I had to look it up.
Oh my god,
y'all! I love AO3. It is my home away from home.
But it was unexpected that that was gonna be so little of it. But I really loved the dynamics of the entire movie, so I always really enjoyed this movie. But it was one of those ones. It's like those really great TV shows that you never see. You see like 2 episodes, and they're always on the wrong time, the wrong channel.
Yeah. So this movie got a standing ovation at Cannes, right? The Cannes Film Festival. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
The what?
Canne, Cannes. Is that the Cannes Film Festival?
The Cannes?
Is it Cannes or is it
Yes,
Cannes?
it's
See, I've heard
Cannes
it. I'm not trying to make a psych joke right now, but I think I've heard it both ways. I literally think I've heard it both ways. Stop it, Cat.
No, it's the Cannes Festival. I know it is. I've been there. No, I haven't.
You've not been there.
You don't know if I've been there or not.
Isn't it like the south of France or some shit?
Yeah, it's the south of France. It's very south. It's to the south anyway. I mean, it depends on where you are in the world, but sure. Yeah, it's south. Could be north. We don't know. I am stalling while I'm looking at.
That's okay. I'm waiting to see if there's a read aloud of the pronunciation.
That's what I'm looking for. That didn't help me at all.
Okay, wait a second.
Oh my God. I'm going to be cutting so much time out of this.
How do you pronounce Canne?
No, that's not how. C-A-N. Yeah, that is. But it is S on the end, by the way.
What is the Cannes Film Festival? Okay.
Can.
Yeah, it's the Cannes Film. I know I was right.
Ooh.
No, I've just heard it said on television and everything else.
So this movie got a standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival, yet it really didn't do well in the box office. So I'm really not sure what happened because, again, my interest in doing that research lost itself really quickly because, again, I don't feel the best this week. But it caught popularity when it went on, DVD. And people were able to watch it.
Well, yeah, it gained a cult following.
Yeah. And honestly, some of my favorite films have the bigger cult followings than actual popularity.
Oh, no, absolutely. Most films that I like are probably very popular looking back on it, but nobody was there when I was seeing most of them.
Looking at you, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Looking at you.
Well, I didn't have that.
No,
so.
But off topic, that clip from Rocky Horror Picture Show that's been going around recently where they put the Bluey intro into it has given me so much life. I think that is hysterical because I watch a lot of Bluey at work. We like Bluey. Sorry, I had to digress. So yeah, and movies like that have a cult following tend to be the better movies. I find, my personal opinion.
I just like finding movies that kind of feel like your own.
Yeah.
Like not a lot of people know about it. Like there's one, and I could be wrong. Everybody could love these films, but from my point of view, I rarely meet anyone who knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like Safety Not Guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know that movie.
That is a great movie, and we should definitely watch it on the for the show and stuff. But these small indie films, I kind of live for, and the reason why I live for them is because these bigger productions that kind of started that whole genre, very big production, and very few people actually saw it.
Yeah.
So it feels like an indie film in a way. It's just it's got a different feel to it.
Yeah.
Than an indie film, but you get that sense of ownership of the film. You feel like it's yours.
Yeah, you found it.
Right.
It's your baby.
You feel special for having it and being able to relate it to other people.
Like Dave Bills Amaze.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people I have turned onto that movie.
It is a great
It's a great movie, and we will go over that movie because it's really good.
Although you already know we're going to say it's a great movie, but you have no idea
you don't
about
know
anything else. Maybe we hate it. You don't know.
Every movie we talk about, it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
I know. We love every movie.
No, we did not.
Except the bad ones.
Except for Short Circuit.
I wanted to love it so much.
Oh, me too. Me too.
So, far afield again. Let's talk about...
So, you know me. I like this movie, and I enjoyed it. But to me...
So let's just talk about what you want to talk about. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we might not do this tonight.
No, I think we're fine.
I enjoyed the movie, but there was a lot of, it's a murder mystery. Who done it? I did appreciate that you don't really know what's going on 100%. So,
well, it's told through the view of Harry Lockhart, who is the unreliable narrator.
Oh, God, is he an unreliable narrator?
I mean, he's reliable in a lot of the things he does, but if you look at the film from his point of view that he starts out with, you realize what's playing out may not be exactly what's happening.
Oh, yeah, because it's all his perspective.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the brilliance of this movie, is the fact that it points out flawed memory.
Oh, absolutely.
You cannot remember everything perfectly. Unless you have an eidetic memory, you cannot perfectly. So that's like the biggest thing when you watch these shows about brains, and it'll be like, they'll have like a bunch of actors doing like some type of like robbery or some shit in the middle of a park. And then they go and ask all the strangers around them, what did they see? And not many people can tell you the same things.
Right.
He's tall, he's short, he's pink, he's wearing a pink sweater, he's wearing a red sweater. No, there's so many things that we see, but we don't see. And I think that's like my frustration with life, is like when people will be like, well, what happened? Well, I can tell you what I saw, but it doesn't mean it's what really happened.
Yeah, it's all based upon perspective.
Yeah. So this shows you the flawed memory, especially like when he's talking about his childhood in the beginning. He's showing his childhood, and he's showing the scene with the chainsaw, which
cutting the girl in half.
But then when he goes back to that scene later on, and there's the people standing, oh, so you didn't see the sign? Oh, that's because these two people were standing in front of it, and his memory, and he, in his memory, it was flawed. And I really appreciated that aspect of it. Like, he didn't remember things exactly the way it happened. Yeah. And then he has to go back and like fix it. Like when he's talking about the robot thing. How many times did they mention Protocop?
Actually, I stopped counting halfway through, but the individual areas, because sometimes they say it like multiple times in one little area. But if you give like each definitive area, I had 3 so far.
Okay.
But honestly, I stopped about halfway through because I got interested in the story again.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of parts I didn't remember to it.
Yeah.
When you go back, I mean, I've only seen it once before. But it is one of those movies that you love. It's like that TV show thing, where you don't see it in its entirety until like later on in life, and you're like, oh, that was such a good show. Why didn't I watch it more? It's because it was on at a weird time, or you just didn't have access to it, or whatever.
I could see myself watching this again, and I'm not one, there's some things in, like, when I was younger, I would watch over and over again, but as I've gotten older, I don't watch things over and over again. You put them on, and it'll be on in the background.
Watch them over and
but,
over.
like, I really wouldn't even put on the TV half the time if you didn't turn it on for, to watch something. But this is a movie I can see watching again and again. I could see there's definitely an entertainment value in this movie. Definitely. I do appreciate Harry's also his gentlemanliness. So
that is the thing about Harry, or the Robert Downey's character. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was written that way by choice, but it sounds like it's part of the script and not something he devised.
Yeah,
because it has place. The whole reason why not the whole reason. The reason why the writer had him be, or the writers had him be gentlemanly, is because you're going to get to the point where the dead body, and he pulls the dress down for her.
Yeah, and that's kind of a
modesty.
plot point. Yeah.
Yeah, for her modesty, because he is a gentleman.
Yeah,
and
because he
he's
tries
a surprising gentleman. Not a gentleman thief. He is a thief.
Yeah.
He is a gentleman, but he's not like a swashbuckler.
No.
He's more like
He's a bumbling thief, actually. He's not the greatest. But he is like the way he tries to protect Harmony when she falls asleep after reading the book in the beginning at the party. Because the guy was a creep.
And gets a shit beat out of him.
And he gets a shit beat out of him. He loses a finger. I mean, the man gets his ass handed to him all through the fucking movie. Honestly, I think that my favorite part...
What I tell you, it was the opposite Get Shorty.
Yeah.
It's Bizarro Get Shorty, because he's kind of playing, an actor who's not an actor. But instead of like smooth, like strolling through the movie like John Travolta, he gets his ass kicked like Robert Downey Jr. getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, well, but weirdly enough, when the girl's dead body appears in his shower and he turns and pees on her, it's like the fucking best part of that whole thing. And I know that's not the best part of the movie, but it was so unexpectedly fucking funny.
I was laughing.
There were so many tits. So many tits.
I was laughing the first time I saw it, but the second time where he's peeing on the corpse, this time that we watched it, all I could think is the episode in Psych where Sean and Gus have found the dead body, but Gus has left, a note and a bunch of evidence all over the...
God.
So they keep coming back to fix it, but they make it worse.
Yes.
And then they have to go get Corbin, who is the bad guy in here. It was just funny because it's that kind of bumbly, getting yourself into further and further mischief as you go.
God. And it caught me off guard. I did not expect it. And that was what really, just to me, that was the funniest thing, is to see that stream of pee just right across the, oh my God. And then, like I said,
it's just evidence everywhere. And he's trying to cover his fingerprints. It's like, dude, you just peed all over the corpse.
I know. But you see that, and that's in the relative beginning of the movie. But as the movie progresses, and you see a bit of him hardening, because that's, especially when the girl with the pink wig gets killed.
Oh yeah,
he's done.
That was horrifying.
That was it for him, and he just that was the first time he actively killed somebody and had intention.
He stood up. At first he's shooting without really aiming.
He's not even really looking at it, and then he just kind of just goes
focus
at the man,
right?
And then and for somebody who again was a bumbling robber, he is a really good shot.
He is. He's an excellent marksman. Accidentally,
yeah.
There's no lead up to it in the movie that he's been really good at firearms. In fact, when he picks up the first one, it's almost like he's never even held one before.
Oh yeah, the little Derringer.
Well, yeah, and not just that one. I mean the actual time he picks it up to kill someone.
Oh, yeah.
Is that silenced pistol on the bed.
Oh, yeah.
And he picks it up kind of like, someone who's never touched a gun picks it up. Mm-hmm. So you get the sense that he's never had an actual gun in his hand.
Yeah.
And never really needed one. When he's robbing the place before at the very start, it was a break-in job.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a small, petty criminal.
Yeah.
He is not hardened at all. So he builds that hardness. And say hardness, he endures a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, loses a finger and the dog ate it.
Well, and I'm not talking about physical pain either. We're talking about, the man's got some emotional pain.
Oh, yeah.
In this movie. He keeps getting not just beaten up, but fucked over, in pretty rapid succession.
Oh, yeah.
And he keeps still somehow going as if that is all there is just to keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have any other mode of operation. He can't just stop. He pauses for very brief seconds. He doesn't even take the time to realize one of his best friends, the girl he's in love with, he doesn't realize who she is at the bar. He takes no time for any of that because he's always moving forward, and he's like the fluffiest shark available. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, but he definitely has the capacity to kill him. And he's showing this when he stands up. He's had enough. He's done with it at this point.
My only complaint, and then this isn't really a complaint so much as again, we always talk about this, how sometimes it's the time, and it's also the people who are creating these movies and their perspectives. He makes the comment about women and sex and how they're damaged.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that's, maybe it's the LA crowd that he's talking about. And I'm not saying that's
what he was aiming at
the
towards.
truth.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the truth, because it's not necessarily the truth, but I guess it's his truth. That women in that area who are more promiscuous are damaged. They come from some type of trauma, and that's why they're that way, where if a man is that way.
Oh, yeah, no, that's horrible. I mean, it's just a horribly sexist view.
It is very, very horribly sexist view, especially coming from somebody who is so gentlemanly and protective.
In every other way.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he's a horn dog, don't get me wrong. He's a fucking horn dog. But
he is, but he's not doing it maliciously.
No.
You know, there's that malicious ignorance, you know, which a lot of men employ when they want to do that. I'm just a nice guy. No, you know you're not. You know you're a predator. That's why you're saying. That's why you have to advertise it, that you're a nice guy. It's like putting a little neon sign. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. And eventually someone will fall into that trap.
Yeah. And he's not doing that. He's just stating how he feels. And that could also be, you know, he comes from that little tiny town, and that could be the upbringing and the belief system that he still has from growing up in that small town. We don't know enough about that background.
Well, see, you have an off camera at the very start, and you have it later on in the film in which he's talking to his niece. Mm-hmm. That's showing his attachment to.
Oh, yeah.
He loves her. You know?
Oh, yeah.
So, is it niece or nephew? I can't remember.
Niece. Now. It's niece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's trying to... The whole reason he's really robbing that place is to get a toy...
For her.
And so, you know, you see that he is a very big softie. Mm-hmm. He's hardened by life, but he's not hardened in his heart.
Yeah.
And he is... In this movie, he falls back into love with the first girl he really ever loved.
Yeah. And her screaming when they're doing the chainsaw thing. I mean, again, this is my first time seeing it, so I was convinced. I'm thinking, shit,
I
they
forgot.
killed the little girl. Is this why, you know?
I was like, is there a tragedy at the start?
Is he going to crime because he ends up being in juvie or some shit because him and his buddy accidentally killed this little girl, and she's just like, I'm gonna be an actress and girlfriend, yeah.
So Harmony Lane is who Harry Lockhart is in love with, and we learn this, you know, when he does eventually meet her at the bar, he doesn't realize the very girl he quote unquote saved from, and which, you know, should say there's going to be some talk of incest and sexual assault. It is all very off camera. It is all very not. There's nothing.
No,
right
you
there in
don't
your
see
face.
it. No,
but it does get mentioned and alluded to.
Yeah.
So just so you're aware, we should have probably put that at the start, but we're just now getting into it.
Yes.
So Harmony Lane falls asleep reading this whole backstory of her loving the books. What is it? The Loomer.
So Harmony is really into this series of books called, actually I don't know what the books are called, but that's the Johnny Gossamer Private Detective series. And so she's really, you know, got that frame of mind going. And that's kind of important to the plot, as that is how Harmony Lane, her character, is really into these private detective books, the Johnny Gossamer books. This movie was based on a book called, a 1941 book by Brett Halliday called Bodies Are Where You Find Them. And it's kind of loosely based on that. And it's like kind of like a tongue-in-cheek version of it, but what's really funny is that while writing this, Shane Black was really into the Raymond Chandler, Philip Marlowe detective books.
Right.
So that's why there's so many, like, there's chapter titles. And a lot of the chapter titles that they use in the movie for different scenes are taken from Philip Marlowe books.
Oh, okay.
So that's really, so I like that little homage.
That explains that style.
Yeah, and I like that little homage that they, like, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to come up with this fake detective series of books, which I don't know if it's a fake detective series of books. Couldn't find that information. Maybe somebody out there can tell us if it really is. But I also love finding out like behind the scenes crap. Y'all know that. And apparently Robert Downey Jr. kept making Val Kilmer laugh like crazy when they were in the car at the stakeout scene.
Yeah.
Because apparently they were like these fake deer. And Robert Downey Jr. would roll down the window and yell at them, "Who sent you?" And for some reason, it would like get Val Kilmer like dying laughing. So I love shit like that. I think that's funny. It's just, it brings, like the stupid to life. I don't know. I appreciate it. Makes them human. Walking around at work with your coworkers,
A lot of this is, we're talking about Harry's journey.
Yeah.
Because essentially, he is the narrator.
Yeah.
It's going to be centered on him. This petty thief that finds himself getting deeper and deeper into an entire kind of conspiracy. Mm-hmm. In a funny way. But he's reluctant. Yeah. He doesn't want to be a hero. But you notice he does not ever turn down the chance to be a hero.
Yeah.
He really does have that, like, that white knight complex. Mm-hmm. And they even allude to that as the Harry and Harmony's school.
Yeah.
The mascot is a white knight.
That is true. And she does call him Whitey.
Yeah, it's not subtle.
That's not subtle. Much like the coconut.
Heavy on the penis.
Oh my God. At least it wasn't a supernatural reference. God, my brain just keeps every time I go to have a thought.
Well, we're talking about his redemption.
Yes. And well, there is a really great twist in this movie. I don't want to give it away. For those people who have not seen the movie, I really don't want to give that away because honestly, I think that was kind of like my highlight was I didn't know.
I think 20 years is long enough.
I'd not seen it before.
I know, but I think 20 years is long enough for anyone who wanted to see it to not be surprised by something.
Okay, well, we already know Corbin Burnson's the bad guy, but we kind of, you figured that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, in sight.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the ins and outs in this movie, because you don't know who it is, and at first you don't really know who you know who the bad guy is, but you don't know that he is involved in the murders of these girls. And then you find out like it's his daughter, but it's not his daughter. And it's like, there's a lot back and forth. I'm just jumping in since you said 20 years is enough. So now I'm just jumping in. And
don't worry. I don't think you're explaining it well enough for anyone.
No, and I'm purposefully being vague.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're doing an ample job of not hitting the mark.
Good, because that's what I was going for.
Okay.
There's just a lot of points in this movie that just like stick out, and they really like they get your attention. So and it's kind of intentional. Once again, Shane Black, he said there's a you lose your audiences they lose focus every 28 minutes. So you kind of want to have an area at the 30-minute mark where they can gather their thoughts and come back into it.
Right.
And I think that's really well done in this movie. And I am very guilty of that. I do fade in and out of movies. I can't watch a movie without playing a game. Unless I'm in a movie theater, I cannot focus on anything. So I've got a game on my phone. It's usually nothing I have to think hard about. It's just some type of puzzle. And I could feel the flow in that movie of the calmer moments and then, a spike of interest. When the car just comes flying out of nowhere and goes into the lake, he says, "What's wrong with that car?" And I still don't know what he was seeing. Like, was he seeing it being heavy in the back or what? But when the car goes away and Robert Downey Jr.'s character goes, what's wrong with that car?
I thought it was the sounds that had given it away.
Yes, yeah.
She was, but
I don't know
would she have been banging? She was dead already.
She was dead already because her neck was broken.
So I don't know. I don't know what the...
And then he shoots the locket and he shoots her in the head. Oh my God, there's so much about this because it's actually fucked up but very funny.
I really think it's very intentional the way that they drive the harder scenes like corpses and stuff like that. They're always spiked with comedy of some kind.
That's true. They really are.
So what you get is this...
Except for the girl with the pink wig. That scene is not, but it's followed.
It is, but it's like so purposeful.
Yes.
Because you get, at the start of the film, it's the lightest form of corpse play you can manage. Mm-hmm. Going into the harder stuff, as the movie progresses, his life gets progressively darker.
Oh,
but still maintains this tap dance of, so the corpse is there. You get this sinking feeling just because it's a corpse, and then you get a lighter moment.
Yes.
And it disrupts you.
And that
emotionally, it just kind of throws you off.
And with the first corpse, it is that moment where they're like, okay, we need to,
it's the bantering.
It's the back and forth, the banter, and then he's like, yeah, but you shot her in the head.
Right.
And it's like, what? You shot, and then they show you her head, and you're like, oh crap, he did. He shot her in the head.
But it's like a nesting doll of issues because he's trying to save her by breathing into her mouth.
Yes, and it's like, well, her neck's broken.
And he's like, and Gay Perry is like, his neck's broken, or her neck's broken. You're not going to help her.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he goes, and then he says, you shot her in the head.
Yeah, so it's like, well, you saw that before you were giving her CPR, dude.
I think when you're in shock, you're
I
just
guess
trying
so.
But he's going to try to save. He's the White Knight. He's going to try to save
and
everyone that he can.
And he's already in shock because Perry jumped into the water, and he went in the water, and then you hear the shots underwater, and he's just yelling, "Perry, Perry!"
Yeah, well, he kind of freezes up a little bit because he was going in with the intention of saving her, and then suddenly there's gunplay.
And wasn't there like a moment where Perry was walking on water?
I think so.
I mean, he was like, so the thing about the character of Gay Perry is Val Kilmer, he walked around in like Louis Vuitton shoes and he had his nails. He was getting pedicures and manicures done, and much to his son's chagrin, because apparently he was bringing, he's very much a character actor. And God, I have to wonder what he brought home when he played what is it?
Mardigan.
Mardigan, yeah. Oh my God.
From Willow.
And what did he bring home when he played that? Oh my God, Jim Morrison.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I wouldn't want to be around him. I mean, David Thewlis is also a character actor, and he brings it home. And I know way too many stories about him and his experiences.
Shenanigans.
Not good ones.
There's good and bad shenanigans.
Oh yeah, he brings those characters home in not good ways. But Val Kilmer doing that, I don't know. That would kill me. But Mad Mardigan, yeah. I get behind that one.
I mean, his kid wouldn't.
His kid wouldn't, but I could. But yeah, so he was doing that, and so you're having that in mind, that he's this well polished character, and here he is running into this lake, and he does look like he was walking on water for like a second.
But so Harry runs in there first,
yeah,
because his initial thing is just to act.
Oh my God,
to do
this
something,
car just fell into the lake
to do the dumbest thing possible. But it is a very heroic kind of attitude.
Oh yeah,
but then when he
stops, when he realizes there was nobody in the car, because he's like, "There's nobody in the car."
Yeah,
and then Perry's like, "Get the keys," but then he's like, then he dives in, so. Yeah, that's because I think he realized there must have been somebody in the trunk.
I mean, because Perry
how would he have known?
Perry is not without his heroism too. These are two very, I think, courageous men who are snippy with each other, really buddy, but in that we're gonna fuck with each other kind of way. Kind of way. And I think that, this is playing off of that is, Perry and Harry both share like this, not a white knight complex. In this instance, I think they both share like just
it's not so much a complex,
a humanity.
That's what it is they aren't trying to be heroes. They're just trying to be humans.
Well, I think they both share a humanity. They both act like they're very hardened. They both act like they're, like...
They don't give a fuck.
But what it is and you learn this throughout the film, everyone in here is flawed.
Oh, yeah.
But everyone in here is very human.
Yeah.
Harmony, who, to me, is the main character. But the thing is, she's not the main character in the film. She's the main character in Harry's head. So she becomes the main character, but only as he's writing the story, not you writing the story by watching.
Yes.
So I think it's well done. I may be reading way too much into this.
Nah. I love...
But Wolfman have nards, so...
Wolfman have nards. I mean, the man who wrote Monster Squad, Wolfman had nards. Well, speaking of nards,
I put that in apropos of nothing, just because.
No, but speaking of nards, let's use that to carry over. The scene when he's got him hooked up to the electricity, and Perry's just pointing out that you just like his junk hanging out,
you just wanted to look at it.
Yeah, you could have put it on his chest. How many men have you wanted it? He's like so egging him.
He's homophobic
on.
in him.
Oh my God, it was so
and
funny.
It worked.
And it worked, yeah. And then he shot him with his crotch gun.
True enough. And it's a good thing he had the crotch gun, too.
Yes. Taped to his balls, he said, or something like that.
They never want to check there.
No, they never want to check there.
So I think that, when we're talking about redemption, I think there's more than one. And I think, Harry's journey is definitely there.
Yes.
But we're also talking about kind of Harmony's redemption, because she made mistakes when she was a kid, but she was also abused as a kid.
Yes.
We get the implication that there was incest and sexual assault. I'm going to use the nice language for that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'd really like to say a lot of things about it, but she had it happen. Mm-hmm. That's the implication you get.
And her sister
that she
did too.
aged out.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of aged out while her little sister is the one who...
And she left her behind, and she feels the guilt of leaving her behind because she said she wouldn't.
Right. And you get the sense through the film, through the very start of the film, that her sister was really fucked up about it.
Yeah.
But turns out, throughout the movie, you find out that she actually was investigating.
Yeah.
Her little sister was doing the investigating. She was trying to find her father, who she, because of the incest and the essay from her father, her older sister, Harmony, had told her that is not your actual dad. Mm-hmm. Trying to make it, I don't know, soften the blow.
Yeah.
Soften the pain of it somewhat. To know that it's not someone who actually is part of your family, who loves you, that is going to hurt you.
Isn't doing this to you, yes.
Right. And it was a kindness that she did at the start, but it does blow. It's the whole point of this film.
Oh, yeah. It's because of that she does this investigation and thinks that it's Corbin Bernsen's character, that's her dad, sees him with the decoy daughter getting all down and dirty.
Right.
And he doesn't know that she doesn't, there's so many, it's a lot of miscommunication.
But Harmony's got a redemption in this as well, because she got her sister into this, but she figures it out.
Yes.
She's the one that's instrumental in figuring all this out. And again, Harry's writing her story.
Yes. And
he is an unreliable narrator, so I'm not sure exactly how far that goes.
But you also realize that where you think she was murdered by Corbin Bernsen's character, turns out that she just took her life because she thought that her supposed biological father was doing the same thing as the one that was already doing this to her. So, yeah.
Right. So, and to clarify that, is that the, Harlan Dexter, he hired someone to play his daughter
because his daughter
Well,
opposed him.
He put his daughter away in an asylum so that he could have an actor play her so that he could keep everything quiet and make the charges go away.
Yes,
because she had
filed charges against him.
So this is all very convoluted, and if you want a better...
Watch the movie.
Better idea of what the story is about, you'll have to watch the movie.
We're not trying to go scene by scene.
Read the Wikipedia. But you have to understand that to know that this is Harmony's redemption is because she was at the very least solving it or revenging her sister.
Yes.
And also kind of making herself a better person because she's kind of lost it off the deep end.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else in this film for the most part, except Perry, who I think he comes off as very well put together, but I think he's one of those people who's eternally lonely.
Oh yeah, I think so. And I think that's what possesses him at the end to go and beat the crap out of Harmony's biological father and the sister's biological father.
Because you get this real sense that they all are really friends now. That they've really...
Well, Robert Downey Jr., Harry, at the end, he says he works for Perry now. Yeah,
and something I don't like is they didn't mention Harmony. So Harmony's whole thing was being a detective.
Yeah, she
would have joined.
Yeah, she would have. So maybe she is. We just don't,
Yeah, we just didn't get that. Maybe it's on the cutting room floor somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
That's too bad. So it uses a lot of dark humor, a lot of satire.
Who was the girl in the commercial the second? So there's this commercial that Harmony did. And
wasn't that her friend?
Was it her friend?
Yeah, I think it was her friend.
It wasn't Flicka.
Yeah, I think it was Flicka.
I
could be wrong.
So
but I think it's
the
Flicka.
use of names in this movie is so... I'm going to say it again. It's very fan fiction.
Really?
I mean,
it is like someone wrote
It is like somebody
fiction.
wrote really bad fan fiction that's like an alternate universe with all these original characters. So I don't know if anybody in our listening circles remembers the, what is it, My Immortal Beloved or something like that. And it was just a really bad Harry Potter fan fiction, chock full of Mary Sues and fake houses and in the names. I mean, we made fun of that thing for years and also utilized like anybody who is a Mary Sue came from Sparkly Poo. That was their house. And unicorns were their color. Stupid things like that. And so the names in this, not only you got Harry and Harmony with the H alliteration.
Right.
You've got Harry and Perry with the rhyming tones. And then you got My Friend Flicka. Literally, they use those lines. My Friend Flicka. Her name is Flicka, and it's My Friend Flicka. It's like, were you aware of what you were doing? Or is this a detective crime novel cliche of like those older ones where the names are, Pussy Galore and stuff like that?
I really think that a lot of times this movie kind of sums up for me as like the Monty Python with the Moscow Mule. It is heavily comical in a lot of the things that are happening, but it comes at it in this like, I'm very stylish kind of way, It doesn't mess around with it.
True.
It's very brutal, but the comedy is there to be found. It's the satire that cuts that.
Oh, definitely.
And you things like that, My Friend Flicka, it's always something very, like sticks out in your head as like this thing to like brainworm you, where you're like,
even like the title, the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is like, it was a utilized of that genre of movie of these detective movies were noir, like the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang movies. And so that in itself was also tongue in cheek.
Yeah. And, then we have like, we talked about the friendships between, it's not a friendship at first. It develops very, I think, organically, even through a very short film.
Because Robert Downey Jr., because Harry is hired to do a movie, and Perry is hired to bring him along with him to teach him the ropes on how to be a detective, because the character in the movie that he's going to be in, and the reason why he got the role is because literally his friend had just gotten shot, and he's reading and he was killed, and he's running from the police, and he runs into the audition by accident.
He thinks he died. He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know if he died or not, but he literally runs into the audition, and the audition happens to be about, a friend dying, and he's like, I did let him die. I killed him. And he's getting all emotional and not even reading the script. And they're like, see, it's the old school acting. And that's how and it was all because, who was the actor that they were trying to get? Not Jude Law. Who was it at the end? That
Jesus. Colin
Farrell. So Perry says to him that he wasn't actually going to get the part in the movie, that he was only being used to get Colin Farrell to lower his money demands, because that's who they really wanted for the part. And I find that to be funny. And poor Colin Farrell comes off as being a real dick, even though he's not even in the movie. Just mention of his name and, being a money hungry actor when that wasn't even the case, and he's not even in it. I don't know much about Colin Farrell, so that was my phone.
Oh,
so I don't know much about the actor, but I think it's not fair.
I think that was a funny dig.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we have that. We have loyalty and everything else, but really, what always sticks out to me is Harry always gets screwed over.
Oh, he does.
Until halfway through the film.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets fucked over so many times, and he takes it right on the chin every time. And he just deals. He doesn't complain about it. Really, even getting his finger cut off, he doesn't complain too much about.
He does a little bit, but...
Yeah, but he doesn't... It's not like it doesn't stop him from doing things. He's on drugs because they gave it to him for his finger.
They sewed it back on only for him to have it removed again.
Right. And, he's still trying to help her. He's still trying to do things because he is in love with her.
I love when he's talking to her and he's got his hand on his face and it's the bandaged hand and you're going...
And it's missing the finger.
Yes, and you're like, okay, why would you be gesturing? I would be like... I would have it wrapped up, against my chest.
But, he's still in love with her from the past and she's still trying to make him see, and they really don't... I don't think they get enough into it in the film. But you can see she's frustrated with him just loving the memory of her.
Oh yeah, because she's changed. She's not the same person she was as a teenager. Because who the hell is?
And she's seen a lot of things. And yeah, she was promiscuous. She had, she has her own issues. She's a flawed person. But she doesn't need to be reminded of that by somebody worshiping her, because the only thing that you can do to make someone feel worse about the situation they're in is to love bomb them, because all they're thinking is, are you kidding me? I don't need this. And that's I understood that. I never understood that before.
Well, and then the only thing is he did make her promise to not sleep with his best friend.
Right.
And she did.
And he finds out. Yeah.
Acted like such a little child about that. And I thought that was funny too. Because
she
calls him up and she's like, because he had mentioned something earlier on about the corpse and what he noticed about her dress being silky and thin and how she wasn't wearing underwear. And so she calls him up and asks him if he thought that she was sexually assaulted. And he said no. And then he goes, but you slept with my best friend. And he hangs up on her. It's like, oh. Yeah, but he did answer her question though.
And still he keeps helping her.
Oh yeah.
Coming after her. So he's not
heartless. He was just hurt because.
Yeah. He was dissuaded at the time.
Yeah. Because promises are made, and promises, you want to hope that people are going to keep their promises. But, that doesn't always happen.
I know the first time I saw it, I thought Harmony was going to be the flip.
Yeah.
The thing that he's in love with, who turns out to be the orchestrator of all this.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought that's what they were setting up, because you see him get fucked over so many times. But the thing where it happens is the same thing you see is when he starts being a really good marksman. Mm-hmm. He picks up the gun.
Yeah.
It's that death under the bed. The blue-haired woman.
Pink-haired woman.
The pink-haired woman laying there after she's been shot and she's dying.
And she's looking at him and she's trying to
talk.
Yeah, and he's like, don't. He tries to shush her because, that would give him away.
Right.
And he knows she's gone.
It's a real baby at the back of the bus on MASH situation.
Kind of, yeah. Ew, gosh. Ew.
Yeah. That's what I felt watching as my heart sank at that moment because there was nothing to pick it up. That's where, that whole beat of, a little bit of morbidity and then they lighten it with laughter or something.
Because even so when the guy comes back with the trash bags to get her body and he's sitting there and the guy takes a moment to realize he's there, that is the only really moment, because it's not even a funny moment. It's it's a still moment. Yeah, because he does a double take, and then he's telling him, I'll kill you too, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's like, no, he doesn't even say anything. And that's it. He doesn't say anything.
No, it's his anger.
He just shoots. Yeah, and he's just done. He's over it, and
it's the good man going to war.
Yeah.
It is that, that kind of gets played a lot, but in this, it fits. He is essentially a good man. He is not a moral man.
No,
but he is a good man and he cares about people. He cares about, he's not heartless about anything.
But he goes and he's talking to Perry. Is he making something to eat in her kitchen? I don't know. But the finger is just sitting on top of a bowl of ice.
He puts the finger in ice and then he turns to, I forget what he's doing.
I don't know, but he's on the phone with Perry and then the dog comes in and takes the finger. And he's like, Perry's just like, get the finger and kill the dog. And then the dog eats the finger and he's like, well, I guess we don't have to worry about that.
Which is just another part of the, this crazy humor that, this dark humor is, well, the dog ate it. I guess I don't have to worry about it anymore. And he just goes without a finger,
Yeah,
Now Perry's like, kill the dog and get the finger back.
Yeah, but when the dog ate it, I guess there's no... I mean, there's not like there's going to be a fingerprint after that.
But he didn't want to kill the dog.
He didn't want to kill the dog. It's a cute dog.
And that cynicism that runs throughout the film, it's not all employed for making someone feel bad about themselves. It's usually just, the banter between them.
Yeah.
It's not there to make you feel bad for anyone or good for anyone. This is their interplay that you get to watch, and you're just kind of sitting outside of it.
Oh, yeah.
And, we have trauma throughout this film as well. And Harry is getting trauma as he's going. Really, it's a lot like Don Quixote. Mm-hmm. He is that heroic knight, but he gets his ass kicked the entire way, and he keeps getting back up.
Oh, yeah.
Every time. And then the one time he really needs protecting, Perry steps in the way.
Yeah.
To take the bullet for his friend.
True. And
I like to think of it that way. It may not have been that way, but I like to think that he did that to save Harry. So.
And he tries to do CPR on him, and he's
bleeding out of his mouth.
Yeah, and so because he got shot in the chest.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh shit,
he's
Perry.
Dead.
I was upset about that because I'm like, not gay Perry. He's my favorite. And Harry just kind of goes fucking shit wild and just goes after them. And then in Harmony's driving down the street in a van with the Corbin Bernsen's daughter's body in the back, in the coffin, and the back doors are flapping open. So it's just a lot of chaos.
Well, and they're chasing, they got the car chasing, and he's about to shoot the car as it's coming under the bridge.
Yeah.
And that body, that coffin, had somehow landed on the overpass sign.
Yeah.
That he is standing above and doesn't realize there's a coffin there.
And it's just kind of, at one point, like, I think it slides and he ends up hanging off the side of it. And
he's holding on to the dead woman's arm.
Yeah, to her arm. And Corbin Burnson, like, looks over the edge, and a gun had landed on top of the coffin, and it slides perfectly right into his hand, and he goes, bang! You know, he, like, shoots Corbin Burnson, and it's like, holy shit! How did he get so good?
And then he's like,
shoots the guy who's driving the other van, and then he, like, ends up on the roof of the thing, and he, like, shoots through the... I mean, it was damn near Deadpool-ish. But not quite Deadpool-ish.
He did a lot of Keanu Reeves kind of fight, shooting there.
I mean, damn.
Not to mix movies, but...
No, but, you know, he had that. Because not even Tony Stark did that kind of shooting. You know, he didn't shoot. You know, not guns. You know, he didn't like guns.
So, yeah, it's a little bit crazy. I think that, you know, he just gets tired of doing it. And unlike Don Quixote... he comes to that realization that this isn't fun.
No.
When she dies and he watches her die, that's where he's done with this whole thing, and that's why he's going to keep going. He's shot in the chest.
Yeah, and
he's bleeding out.
And he doesn't know that because he thinks the book that the detective book in his pocket saved him, but then when he pulls it out and he realizes because he's still bleeding.
There's a hole through it.
Yeah. So he's, you know, he doesn't realize that he's been shot in the chest. And yeah, it's a case of, you know, once he sees the girl die, he's like, Harmony's not safe. He didn't think she was 100% safe before, but this meant like they're killing girls. And this, you know, is one too many. Let's put it that way. And I think for him, it was a case of, I have to stop this from continuing because I'm going to lose her completely.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think that's why he got super duper dead serious about everything. Yeah. And then I loved the end in the hospital. When Perry comes...
It was a really psych moment, wasn't it?
It really was. So Perry rolls in there in his wheelchair, and he's like, yeah, this is like one of those cliche movie endings where everyone's alive again, and like all the people who'd been dead. And then like, it was funny because it starts out with like the actors in the movie who are dead, and then it's like Abraham Lincoln and Elvis Presley, and then, you know, they're like
there was a goat in there
I think there's a goat at one point. And he's like, no, it's just, you know, he just happened to be alive. And, you know, he's like, I know it's cliche, but he did survive. And yeah, Perry and him are they're alive. They made it to the end, and so did Harmony. And then you see Perry going to the father and beating the crap out of him while he's bedridden.
On Harmony and her sister's behalf.
Yes. And then it's at the end, it's Harry talking to the camera because he's telling the story. And Perry comes in and he's like, the fuck are you doing, man?
And he ends it for him.
Yeah. And he's like, the best boy is somebody's cousin or nephew, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, it was a very enjoyable movie. I wished I had seen it sooner. I would definitely watch it again. Yeah. Oh, Corbin Burnson. His production company, Public Media Works. That was their first movie.
Really?
Yeah, that they produced. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was like a little go Corbin. I mean, it was a good movie. And my notes are very minimal because I just really.
Don't forget your gay job.
Yeah, the gay job one. Well, speaking of gay jobs, apparently, so Robert Downey Jr.'s character, so when Harry's coming out of the gallery and of living art, that was in like a little nod to when he was younger, he had worked as living art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I love little things like that. So yeah, I
mean, it's.
I don't know.
It is a layered, I say this about a lot of movies.
No, but this is a layered movie.
It is a layered movie because
it's in and out and twist. It's like a, oh God, what the hell are those knots?
Celtic?
Not a Celtic knot. It's something along those lines.
Slipknot? I'm just
No.
naming bands.
Yeah,
right
now you're
now.
just naming things. But it's like that type of a thing. It's like that knot, and it weaves itself back and forth through the story. And so you're here, but you're getting little bits of information, and you don't get more information, and so you come back around, and it loops and it twists and it turns. And I like a movie like that, because to me that is keeping my attention. That is getting me to want to invest my attention, which again is something I don't do often when we watch movies.
The thing I like about the mechanic of the narrator, bit where he's the unreliable narrator, but he is a narrator. It separates you from the action.
Yes.
So you're able to watch it without like even the car flying through. No one jumps at that.
No.
You're like surprised, but you're not like, you get to watch it with a separation. There's like this layer of separation.
Yeah.
Everything is like you're watching it on a film set.
True.
So it feels like you're watching it from the camera. So for me, it's fun to watch it because the dark parts of it and even the humorous parts of it all seem to be on a TV that, you're watching from a distance. It's all very layered, and you have that protective film that kind of keeps you away from from absorbing it like you're just watching it.
Yeah.
You watch a movie so much that you just kind of fall into it.
Oh, yeah.
And that aspect of like just all your surroundings being blocked out and you're focused on the movie.
Yeah.
You can do that and still feel like you're separate from it, so you don't get lost in it.
Yeah.
So you're able to see the humor without it ruining the darker parts of it.
Yeah. No, I get that. And it does. It's not humor for the sake of, it's not there to lessen the blow. It's part of the blow. That makes sense.
That's why the layer exists there, so that you don't have to use that. So now it can be used for something else.
Yeah.
It's there as part of the punctuation to the horror, or to the the morbidity, I would say.
And I can't promise that if I was ever in a situation like that I wouldn't make dumbass jokes.
Oh, no, you're going to.
Because it's how
human nature.
Yeah, you're going to react.
To make a reaction, and whether or not you react like someone else thinks you should react.
You react how you react.
That can make it into a humorous aspect.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you react how you react.
Yeah.
Well, like I tell my students, your feelings are valid. It's how we treat others.
But I like that when you flash back, and it flashes back several times throughout the movie to his childhood, things like that.
Yeah.
You get to see that his point of view, his nostalgia and stuff, and then it goes back to him narrating her book.
Yeah.
The book of her, a book of harmony.
Yeah.
And I really wish they'd gone more into harmony, but I see why they didn't.
Yes.
Because he's the one writing it, and you don't get to see everything that's in his head. You only get to see what he's telling you.
Oh, yeah. You don't get to see what's in her head because it's from his point of view.
Right.
I want to see what's in Perry's head.
Well, you don't get to see Perry's head either. You get to see what he shows the narrator. What he shows him is that he is often callous. He is a bad guy when he needs to be a bad guy, and it's a thing that he's just learned in his cynicism and his world weariness and his, I've been there, seen it, it's done attitude. That's the shell he's built around him. And
the beauty of that is, and literally, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, is that in itself is a book. In movies, most of the time, we have an omnipotent narrator. So everybody's thoughts and feelings are either out in the open or not, because you're just getting their verbal, the dialogue. So you're getting their feelings through
their
dialogue.
Context and everything.
And if you get their feelings, it's because that's the type of story it is. But getting it from Harry's point of view, it is like a true novel where you have your main character and the book and the world is seen through their eyes.
Yeah.
And that just gives it one more. Not only are you getting the title pages, you're getting like for each chapter, and not only are you getting that noir feeling to it, the detective vibe, but you're getting the first person viewpoint. And I kind of dig that. I just didn't realize, sick, but otherwise I think I would have caught that one sooner. But the fact that I'm literally sitting here going, wow, that's like a book. That's just like a story. How funny is that?
So like all of them are, these three people they all have like a broken psyche in some way.
Yeah.
And they're all like at the end of the movie, at the very end, do you remember what song played?
No.
In Love with a Broken Heart.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that tells you right there the whole point of the movie.
Oh yeah.
The whole point of the movie are these are three damaged people, and through two different events that end up being the same case, which he points to in the film, points it right at you.
Yeah. Which, he says that about the books that she reads, is that they're like, the detective, Johnny Gossamer, he will be, he'll be doing one really serious case and then one not so serious case, but yet both cases end up being the same case, which is exactly what happened here.
And what he tells Perry on the phone.
Yeah.
These two cases are the same.
Yeah. And it's definitely, it's a book.
It's about them healing.
Yeah.
Their redemption arc isn't redemption, from someone else's idea of you. It's redemption for themselves.
Yeah.
It's what they've internalized as their failing. And I think we know what the, Harmony's is, and we know what Harry's is.
Yeah.
But when we look at Perry, his redemption is from his own cynicism.
Yeah, because he's opening up to them being, a part of that. Because so like at one point, I honestly don't remember what happened. I just remember Harmony running up to Perry and then they hug.
Right.
And it's like that shows you that he's welcomed her into his circle, and then him working with Harry welcomes him into his circle, and he's opening himself up to those friendships and those relationships.
Or to even the idea of a friendship, because he didn't want anything before.
No, he didn't want to even be part of Harry's world.
And I think without
he was a job.
Even if you took away the aspects of Perry's character in which he was there to provide expertise and damage control in a lot of ways, even if you took that out, he was what you play Harmony and Harry off of in order to get that sounding board of he is kind of their future.
True.
Of becoming that very cynical person. And they kind of teach him through Harry's just sheer going to keep going, going to keep doing this.
Yeah, because he keeps calling him. He's like, I don't want to see you again, lose my number, blah, blah, blah. And he's like calling him, I've got a dead body in my shower,
And Harmony, through her just sweet and intelligent nature, she is very whip smart. She doesn't miss a thing. And he knows that. He sees that in her. So, this is one of those things where I think we get the narrator story about her, and we get the movie about Harry.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's really about all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
But Perry is the one that kind of receives all that. He kind of becomes the focal point of both of their lives.
Definitely reminded me about Val Kilmer's talent, because again, he's not an actor I often think of. Because again, I love Willow. I did not care for him as Batman. He was not my favorite Batman. I am a Michael Keaton all the way.
I am too.
First Batman had the soundtrack. Still listen to it. God bless Prince. Says the heathen. But I loved him. Again, he's the character actor. He becomes.
Oh, I loved him in Doors.
Oh yeah, he was Jim Morrison.
Oh, he was.
I actually have a hard time picturing Jim Morrison. I picture Val Kilmer.
Yeah, it's very easy to do.
I mean, he embodied that
And it's not
role.
because he looked like him. He did look a lot like him in ways, but it's because that essence, he was able to really just keep that going through the film.
And he is just, I mean, again, he didn't do movies that I normally would have jumped into. Top Gun, I don't care about that. I've never seen Top Gun, never will.
Tombstone?
No, I did like Tombstone. And
He
that
was
the
very
thing.
good in Tombstone. People still cite, I'll be your Huckleberry.
It's Supernatural.
I know.
See, they did that on Supernatural. And Cass didn't even get the reference. He just said it. No, it's funny because when we were trying to pick out which movie to do for Val Kilmer, we realized he did a lot of either biographies, historical things, because, I mean, doing Tombstone, that's historical, and doing the Doors. And we didn't really want to do a movie with him in it that he was portraying somebody else in that effect. And I did think about...
Yeah, I didn't want his identity to be blurred with the actual identity of the person he was portraying.
And I thought about Willow and suggesting Willow, but then really it's not Mad Mardigan's story. It's Willow's story.
Right.
And that would be great if we were doing a Warwick Davis tribute, but no, I don't want that anytime soon. No. That was not me saying bad things against Warwick Davis, so no.
Okay.
I don't want anything to happen to him.
No, I know
like
that.
him.
But...
So yeah, this was a perfect movie for him because again, it's not.
Well, I didn't want to do Real Genius because I have some things I wanted, and it was.
Yeah.
I think this is more fitting of who he was.
Oh yeah.
In between.
Because
the end and the start.
Oh, exactly. Because his earlier characters were smarmy. They had that arrogance to them. Even in Real Genius, he's got that arrogance in him.
Well, we didn't even go into Dr. Moreau.
And we didn't even look at Top Secret.
But, I mean...
And that was an option in my books,
No, Top Secret was, it's a viable comedy. It is a comedy.
But the problem with most of those movies, like Airplane, Top Secret, Tropic Thunder... is there's so many things that are so problematic about those movies.
Oh, yeah.
Funny as shit. Like, honest to God, my favorite scenes in Airplane are not just Johnny the gay guy, because this could be a brooch or a pterodactyl. Or
they are kind of my favorite.
They are. But it's the little old white ladies talking jive with the black men. And that shit always killed me. I loved it. But... I know the racism is there, and I know it's so bad.
I think it's more of a satire of the racism. So
no, definitely. I mean, those movies are satires of everything. Though, again, with Tropic Thunder, we've got Robert Downey Jr. in blackface through the whole thing. So,
but it's Robert Downey Jr.'s character in blackface.
In blackface. Oh yeah, it's not the same.
Which satirizes actors
who do that.
Doing blackface.
Because, again, we have a history in this country of casting white people to play parts that they do not belong playing. And look at every single movie in the past especially around the black and white era going into the early color era of all these white people playing Asian people. Yeah, fuckers. And what the fuck?
I know, it's pretty startling.
Or let's go a little bit more modern. Prince of Persia. And I don't believe there was a single Persian person with a Persian ancestry in Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I never saw it.
Never saw it, but from what I heard, I had wanted to see it until I read that, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. And I could be wrong. Y'all point it out, because I'd love to have some banter. But, I hate that. Or here, even better, and this isn't even an American movie, the Attack on Titan movie. It's reversed. They used all Asian actors
to play
characters, because if you know the anime of Attack on Titan, there's only one Asian character, and that is Mikasa. And so that's kind of negates that whole thing of her being very unique and why her family was killed. So yeah, it's definitely, y'all be better, do better. Both sides of the coin. I'm not saying that white people need more representation. I'm just saying we can all do better.
Okay.
Sorry, political point. We don't have a soapbox in our episodes. I don't know.
Not begrudging you that at all.
So Castellini.
Oh, you want to know?
I want to know. I don't think so.
You want to know where love is? You want me to show you?
I don't think it's gonna pass the Castellini.
I think it will. No, I don't think it is.
No.
I'm just playing.
I don't think it will.
I was trying to be controversial, but really it's...
I mean, I will play along.
We're going to see if this movie passes the Castellini test, which is a measurement using above all, logic. We have 3 rules, and then we'll use our logic to tell us whether or not this is a feminist film in which there's equity, inclusion, etc. There have to be at least 2 named women characters with at least 5 lines of dialogue each.
Well, I don't think Flicka had 5 lines of dialogue. The best friend did, but I don't think she had a name. They just called her the best friend. And then there's Harmony. And then there's the
Harmony's sister.
Yeah, but what's her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she had a name, though. I just don't remember.
And she didn't have any dialogue because she was dead.
Yeah, she was quite dead.
And the same thing with Corbin Burnson's daughter. She was dead, so you never got to actually have any dialogue of her character.
So we didn't have a single second woman in the film that had 5 dialogues? Or 5 lines of dialogue, sorry?
None that I can think of.
Okay, I think we're done here.
I mean, honest to God, I mean the woman in the insane asylum who bears her ass.
She did have yeah,
she did have at least 5 lines of dialogue, but she didn't have a name.
True. Crazy woman in the asylum. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm trying to think of anyone, and I just don't.
They didn't. Yeah, there's B-movie actress, woman in hospital, pistol woman.
Okay, so we don't have a second woman who...
Newswoman, party girl, news anchor, New York casting.
I think if you're getting down that far. So yeah, that ends it right there because we do not have 2 female characters, 2 women characters.
That are named and have 5 lines of dialogue.
Right. So does not pass the Castellini.
No. I mean, even if we look at the next part about, talking about relationships... They don't talk about relationships because even though...
You get the implication of a relationship.
Yeah. But though they do talk about their past.
They talk about their past, but we don't know what's happening now.
True.
And at the end, this is another thing I think, logically it probably wouldn't pass, is they didn't give a crap about her. In the end, no, I'm saying not the actors, or the characters. I'm talking about the writing. Didn't care about her.
No.
In the end, it was about the 2 guys.
Yeah. So no, unfortunately, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang does not pass the Castellini. It's very sad.
No, it does not. And even logically, if you take it beyond the 3 rules, it does not.
Well, though, if you did take away Harmony, it would change the movie.
It would, absolutely, but it doesn't hit these other 2 things.
No, it can't. It can't hit those other 2, or at least the first one with the named.
Yeah, but it won't do it. These characters must have a conversation, not necessarily with the other woman, either not about their partner or with their partner, future or current, and not about their relationship. They talked about their relationship.
Well, did. Ish. Mostly about don't love me,
Yeah, that kind of thing. But and it is throughout the film, Harry is just in love with her.
Yeah.
So he's always pining for her constantly.
Yeah, and it's not really her fault. She is talking about other things with him.
Right.
So I'll give them that much. That she can't help that he's pining over her. And like I said, it does pass on the sense that if they took her away from the storyline, it would screw up the whole thing. There would be no movie. It's just a shame that there weren't more female named characters that had more than 5 lines.
I think it's just more of a shame that they didn't give her like some ending.
Yeah.
Kind of throughout the thing, just kind of like give her, what is she going into?
Yeah, why isn't she in that scene? Like, why couldn't she have like walked past, even if she was in the background and she was just like gave him all a finger or something,
Yeah, something.
Had it been me.
So yeah, for me, I think that was, it obviously is about the two men and their budding relationship and stuff as friends.
Yeah. And business partners.
I really think, it would have been better to have all three of them kind of fall into, they could have made that into a series.
Oh, yeah. That could have been a
detective series.
Oh, yeah.
They could base it on a book.
Or write it into a book series.
Exactly.
Or a fan fiction.
So how did you feel about the movie at the end? What was your thing?
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
But how did it make you feel about it?
It made me feel towards the movie itself. Like I said earlier, I wished I had watched it sooner. It made me kind of angry for the girls, but yet hopeful that Harmony's going to have a better life now. And I just fucking love Perry. I loved him. He was just one of those characters that I just glomped onto, even just from the first get-go. And I'm not going to lie. If I have my choice between Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. has always got my heart from a very, very young age. So I really thought I was going to really like attach myself. I usually attach myself to a character, and I figured it would be the Harry, because it is Robert Downey Jr. and he kind of reminded me of the character that he plays in Chances Are with Sybil Shepherd.
Oh yeah,
fucking loved that movie, and it kind of reminded me of him in the beginning. That just a softer kind of like dopey Robert Downey Jr.
Right,
but I just dug. I don't know if it's my age and that I'm not the same person that I was when I was younger and saw Chances Are, but I love Perry. There was just something about him, about his coolness, his confidence, that drew me in more so than the adorable, clumsy Robert Downey Jr. character, which usually I like the dorky aspect. So the fact that he was that polished. And that was where that was the person that I wanted to talk to. If I had been at that party in the beginning, that's the person I would want to talk to. I would be almost intimidated, but I'd want to.
Yeah, see, and I understand that. For me, it's also not Harry.
Yeah.
The person I zoned in on that I wanted to really get to know and really understand and flesh out their world of is Harmony. Mm. She's super smart. Why is she in this position? But we know why, because super smart people internalize a lot of things and then they drag themselves down. Mm-hmm. The same reason Harry's dragging himself down. The same reason Perry's made himself into this cynical person.
Yep.
But I wanted Harmony to just see herself for who I wanted her to see herself the way Harry sees her.
Yeah.
Because when he's ranting, and it's appalling, and I hate it when he rants about the women being basically, these are sluts because they've all been abused.
And damaged goods and da-da-da-da-da.
But the thing is, he completely excludes her from that.
But he does call her out because he said she slept with everybody in our school except for my best friend because I made her promise, and me.
But he's not shaming her for that.
No.
And he's not saying she's like the other girls, broken because of trauma. He excludes her from that, what he's saying. He's saying these girls, not you. He's saying it about everyone behind him.
Yeah.
And you're like, he doesn't even see that he's in love with her.
Yeah.
And she has no clue that she's in love with him. But it's one of those things where you don't know if it's ever going to form an actual relationship or if they're just going to be friends. But I think they'd be okay if they were just friends.
I think so. I think it probably would have been healthier.
Yeah. That's just a stray thought I had about, that
I gotta
motivation.
Give him, so like in not to backtrack completely, but like when they go to bed together and she says, like, we're just going to sleep. And she's topless, and he is like very uncomfortable. And then he's like, nope, gonna go in the other room. Can't do it. That's gentlemanly. Yeah. And then like she does offer to have sex with him, but then she says that she slept with his best friend, and then they don't have sex.
But even if that had been the case, even if she didn't have that to tell him, I get the sense he wouldn't have, because he wouldn't have wanted it that way.
Yeah, no.
He was that kind of guy.
Yeah, he was trying to be a gentleman.
Yeah, who wouldn't have taken advantage while her being drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think that a lot of this movie, I wanted to see Harmony.
Yeah.
Being the one who figures things out, and she does. But also, I wanted her to be the one who saves the guys.
True.
That's what I wanted. When I first saw it, that's what I zoned right in on. This time watching it, I already knew that. But my feelings towards the movie have not changed as far as like loving the movie, being excited by it, wishing I remembered it more often, because I think it is a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
And I think you get more out of it the more times you watch it. Like, I never really noticed that the guy in the food truck just kills. Well, it wasn't a food truck. It wasn't a food truck. It was a stationary thing, but it was their little restaurant with the window and stuff. Straight up kills the guy that, ran his car into that area.
Yeah.
The bad guy. He just shoots him in the back. And you're like, oh, shit. That did not expect that. And I'd forgotten that that guy had done that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was surprised by it watching it this time and going, oh yeah, I forgot. This guy just shoots him in the back.
Well, and like, I think there's like an extra who had a line in the beginning of the movie, and then he shows up as another character later on.
They're just reusing.
Yeah, because he was the guy who they were originally going to have do the line. He couldn't deliver it right, so they had this guy do it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's like a lot of little cool little background things. But yeah, and honestly, so you don't think that your love of Harmony has anything to do with the actress's name being Michelle?
Honestly, no, not really.
Just fucking with you.
I mean, I love you.
I know. I was just fucking with you.
But no, my thing for Harmony has really nothing to do with the person. Like her, it has nothing to do with the way she looks.
No, it's her.
It is more about the Nancy Drew of it. I want her to be the character. I want her to be the lead.
You want her to be Nancy.
Yeah, I wanted her to be the unexpected, like, brilliant person who solves everything.
Oh my God, it was Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys. Holy shit, it really was. Now we do need to rewatch it at some
Hardy
point.
Boys, gay as ever.
So, if you would like to watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and give us your opinion and tell us where we're wrong or right, or if you agree, disagree, or otherwise, you can watch it on Amazon Prime, YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, and Fandango. Basically, all the usual suspects. And you can rent it between $3.79 and $3.99. Next time, our movie. Here's our 2 clues for our next movie. And if you have any suggestions for movies, now we have a long list of movies, but if you want to hear us talk about a specific movie, please reach out to us and leave an email or a comment. We will read them all. We want you guys to talk to us. Let us know what we're doing that you like, what we're doing that you don't like, We may not change, but we might, we'll take into consideration. We just want to have that input, that somebody's out there, wanting to talk with us too. So here are your 2 clues before I go on another sick-induced tangent. There's only 2 this time. I culled it down to 2. I was looking for a third, but I just couldn't commit to one. These might be vague though. So this movie's leading actor, this was his last leading role. He went on to after doing this movie, he decided to go into TV again and did a very popular TV show for a while, but this was his last movie. He is still alive, so I'll give you that much. This movie, I was a bit surprised because I did not know this, was directed by Sir Peter Jackson, and the score was composed by Danny Elfman, because Danny, he made a promise to Peter Jackson after seeing one of his other movies. I can't remember which movie it was. And he said, I will write the score and compose a score for your next movie. And he agreed to do it for this movie, sight unseen. So those are your 2 clues. They're a little vague, but... okay, I'll make a third one just because I think those are too vague. Those are vague. It's got ghosts.
Okay, that's a little bit on the nose.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's not. I got to give them something so they could try to figure it out. Okay. I think I'm being too vague because no one's ever guessing. Because I don't know if they even guessed this one, but...
All right. So now we know that.
Yes.
So in the times that we're in right now, the things that are happening right now, you need to speak out. You need to stand up. Protect the people around you. Find the people who are like you to help you through the times that you need. Found family, that's what we talked about with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. We had found family. 3 people that were all kind of broken and then found each other and formed this friendship. And that's kind of what we need to do now is like kind of band together. We need to be out there and speaking out against things that are wrong, against oppression and against injustice. We need to speak out to these things or we won't have a voice later. It is important to do the things and to do the right things for the right reasons.
And speak out for those who don't have a voice, who can't speak out for themselves. So
I want you to really keep feeling deeply, living fully. Don't forget to take time for yourself. And we are thinking of you. We are fighting for you. This has been Once More with Feelings with Beth and Michelle. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at OMWFPod. Visit our page at oncemorewithfeelings.podbean.com. Or you can send us an email at omwfpod@gmail.com. Take a moment and subscribe and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find us. Don't forget your gay job.
I was thinking of that and I couldn't remember it.
Sorry, what did the ugly monkey say? Ficus.
Ficus. Okay, we're going to go be delusional in bed now. Good night, guys.
I peed on it.
What? Would you peed on what?
I peed on the corpse. Can they do like ID from that?
I'm sorry, you peed on
the corpse, and my question is...
No, my question, I get to go first. Why in blue perfect hell would you pee on a corpse?
I didn't intend to. It's not like I did it for kicks. God, this doesn't happen. You said this doesn't happen. This is your fault.